What if I told you the reason you're alone isn't rejection? It's fear pretending to protect you.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's hump day again, guys. Good news. Some of you know I tore my meniscus a few months back in my right knee. And I finally got in to see a orthopedic surgeon yesterday. Man, our whole medical system is broken, and it's really bad out here in the cow pasture. Especially, you have a bunch of what I like to call deltoids. The people that live in Delta, Colorado, they're just slower than the average person. They have no get up and go. They have no sense of urgency. And man, it's like when I went to go see the nurse practitioner, like right after my knee, I recognized that there was a problem with my knee. I went and saw a nurse practitioner, and she's like, okay, well, the insurance company is going to make you get an x-ray first. So here's orders for that. Go across the street to Delta Hospital and get an x-ray. Cool. Done. Knock that out. Then they're like, okay, once that's done, then insurance is going to take 2 weeks to review your case and then authorize an MRI. We can't just order an MRI. You have to get an x-ray first, right? Okay, fine. So next thing I know, like 4 weeks goes by and I still haven't heard anything. So I finally called the doctor's office. I was like, what happened with this? They're like, oh, we never sent an order in for an MRI. I'm like, what happened? Like, I saw this nurse practitioner. Oh, that nurse practitioner left. Okay, can you order my MRI? Right. And so they finally ordered an MRI. That took like another month to get me in for that. I go in there. By that time, I'm compensating with my left knee or my left leg. And so now my left leg's having symptoms. And so I go to get the MRI. I'm like, I have the same problem in my left knee. Can you scan that too? Oh, no. We have this insurance coded for your right leg only. We're only authorized to scan your right leg. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, Obamacare, for putting the insurance companies in charge of medical, and for Delta, Colorado, for raising a bunch of incompetent morons. Anyway, 3 months later, I finally see the orthopedic surgeon, and thank God he looked at it all. He showed me on the MRI where I have a torn meniscus, and he's like, yeah, man, it's a quick 30-minute outpatient procedure. I should be able to run on it again with no problem. So can I get a 2 sweet for that, baby? Because, man, I haven't ran in 3 months, and it's driving me nuts. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, did you know most divorced men, smart, successful, high-performing guys, they still freeze the moment they see a beautiful woman? It's not your looks, your age, or your finances. It's your mindset. Because every time you don't take the shot, you reinforce the lie that you're not good enough. That fear, it's winning. And it's not just costing you dates. It's costing you confidence, connection, and a fulfilling life. But today, I'm going to show you how to kill that fear and become rejection proof. Not with cheesy pickup lines, but with real strategies, stories, and the inner shifts that rebuilt my confidence after my world fell apart several years ago. But first, guys, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, don't you know? There are a bunch of people in the chat right now. If you're watching live, please sound off in the live chat. That helps boost us in the algorithm. Plus, if you have something cool to say or a question, I can bring it up on the screen and you can be a part of the show. If you do have a question, do consider sending that as a super chat. I know y'all have the money. Y'all are spending $500 on these 304s out there that have gaming channels that don't give you any actionable information. but you guys can't spend a couple of ducats or two on a super chat for your boy. That's just, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You know what's really sad about this? $500 because of some random chick on the internet, but you guys won't pay for coaching when you guys need help. It's like, you guys crack me up. You guys crack me up. All right, let's talk about the hidden cost of approach anxiety. Man, drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever experienced approach anxiety. Now, some of you guys might experience it and you get over it and you just push through it, no problem, and you have results or whatever, but we all experience it, right? I've experienced it where you see a girl across the room, you're like, I don't know if I should talk to her. I don't know if she'd like me, right? And you end up talking yourself out of it, and you get up all in your head about some girl, and what it is it's a fear of rejection, right? But there's some evolutionary roots there. I found this out researching my book, Forget That Bitch, and that's what we're talking about. I have a whole chapter on getting over approach anxiety, because once you do the work and you've done the healing, it's time to get back out there. There's time to get back out there and try to find a better woman this time, and be more strategic about finding women and not just getting with the first woman that's somewhat nice to you, right? So when you get back out there, you're going to have to deal with approach anxiety. And for some of you, you guys haven't had this practice in years, right? That was one of my big problems after my divorce back in 2014. I hadn't practiced dating and talking to like women in a romantic way and trying to get numbers and stuff like that in like 15 years, right? You get kind of rusty. You get kind of rusty when you get back out there, right? But there's some evolutionary roots to this. Fear of getting kicked out of the tribe, it equals death, right? Fear or rejection once meant death, right? Getting kicked out of the tribe meant no food, no protection, literal death. Well, that got ingrained in our DNA. You didn't want to mess up things with the tribe and get kicked out. So now we have this fear of rejection, right? Your brain thinks no equals danger. Get ghosted online, your brain reacts like you're being left behind in the wild, right? And you start analyzing it. Why did she ghost me? Where'd she go? Where'd she disappear, right? Like you're having a nice conversation with a girl on Tinder, and not only does she not reply to you anymore, she just unmatches you out of the blue, and you're like, what did I do? Oh my God. You start like overanalyzing stuff, and then you start freaking out. A lot of this goes back to this survival instinct, okay? It feels like life or death. It's ancient. It was about survival, not ego. Your body still reacts to this. A lot of what we do is because we are wired this way from an evolutionary psychology standpoint. You know? It's kind of fascinating. Even high status men, businessmen in suits, they fear looking foolish, right? They don't want to go up to a girl and try to open with a slick opener and get shot down. They'll look like they'll be like the laughing stock, right? They or at least they feel that way. No one around you actually cares, right? Dating apps versus cold approach. Why apps kill confidence. Hold on a second. I got a sneeze coming on. I feel it. God, I love the allergy season. Anyway, dating apps versus cold approach. Why apps kill confidence. Okay. The thing about apps, dating apps, is it really rewards looks, right? That's why when I talk about dating apps and being successful on dating apps, it comes down to 4 things, right? Your pictures, your bio, how you open, and how you close, right? But pictures are paramount. That's why when guys are really not having any luck at all, not getting a single match, like I'm like, what do your pictures look like, bro? I guarantee your pictures suck ass. And most guys don't want to take the time to go and get good pictures done. Right. And even if you're like, well, I don't want to spend money to get professional photos. Okay. But at least grab a tripod and use the camera, the timer feature on your camera phone. Okay. And then go out and take some shots wearing different clothes in different environments, doing different things, right? Like there's a method to the madness here, But most guys don't do that. They take like 5 selfies around their house. It's like, bro, you have 5 of the same picture. Like, there's no wonder chicks don't. You look like you live a boring life. You never leave your house. Right. So anyway, so apps reward looks, not courage. This is one of the things that it's hard to I don't know, recreate on dating apps, and unless you're on a dating app like Match, right? Because Match, if you pay for premium, you can open with women first. That's a bold move, right? You making the first move. That's what women want. That women inherently want men to make the first move. Women are very passive by nature. The way girl game works is they just sort of put themselves in your vicinity and they make eye contact and they hope you notice. Right? That's girl game. Boy game is like you actually have to be bold and make a move, right? That turns women on, that you're actually bold enough to push past that anxiety and make a move, right? Well, that boldness is hard to do on an app like Tinder or Bumble when you have to have a mutual match first, okay? But once you get that mutual match, like you have to open, right? That's kind of how that works. But in order to even get that match, you have to have good pictures, right? Well, in public, like when you're walking up to women, you don't have to necessarily look good. That boldness by itself of just walking up, it sparks something in her brain, like, oh, man, that was a bold move. That, oh, I like that. I like that guy, pushing past that anxiety and not beating around the bush. If you do it in a very confident way where you're not hemming and hawing and going umming and like, would you might maybe think about maybe considering, I don't know, maybe giving your number, right? If you don't do it that way, if you walk up and you're like, hey, give me your number, right? That's a bold move, and women respond to that. Women respond to confidence and boldness the same way men respond to a great pair of tits. We're past the 8-minute mark. I can say that. Anyway, so apps reward looks, not courage. Well, cold approach, that it builds that confidence. And the more you do it, the more confident you get at it. The more confident you get at it, the more attractive you are to her. Doesn't matter what you got going on up here. It's that boldness and confidence is attractive by itself. It's not necessarily factoring in on your looks. That's why when you see ugly dudes or fat dudes with hot women, it's usually because they were bold, confident, and or funny, right? And women respond to that kind of stuff. In person, it's hard to recreate that kind of stuff on the apps. And so a big problem with apps is it tends to create passive men. Now, I'm not one of those guys that shits on dating apps. I love dating apps because they allow you to be more passive. Like, it is such an efficient way to date if you know how to do it right. There's a method to the madness, right? But it does allow you to be passive. It allows you to meet chicks while you're sitting on your couch at home, right? It's fucking awesome. That's great. It's like Uber Eats for vagina. It's amazing. But a lot of guys get frustrated because, women are only going for the top 20% of guys on dating apps. Well, have you ever asked yourself, how do I get into the top 20% on dating apps, instead of going, well, they only do 20%. Might as well fucking give up because I look at stats online and I look at reasons why I should just quit. No. We don't do that on this channel. Okay. We look at, how are they doing it? How are the guys succeeding doing this shit? Let me learn from them. Right. All right. I'm doing that with X right now, like Twitter, X. I'm like, I've decided, like, I really want to go hard on X. I want to make X like my primary social media platform, and like fuck TikTok and fuck Instagram, fuck Facebook. I have big followings on like all the platforms, but man, I get shadow banned. I get account restrictions because I offend people. Elon doesn't give a fuck on X, and I love that. I love that I can be myself and put out the kind of content I want to make on X. God bless Elon Musk, man. Anyway, back on topic. Divorced men struggle more, right? A big reason why divorced men struggle more One, they've been out of practice for a long fucking time too. But one is like their identity was shattered with their marriage. A lot of men put a lot of identity into that relationship. I certainly did. When I got divorced, man, I felt like an absolute failure. I felt like an absolute failure, man. Like my parents are still married, and I looked at that time. I looked at longevity like it was some kind of success metric. It's not. My parents are miserable together. Like they've been together. They're coming up on their 50th wedding anniversary. I think this year is their 50th, and they are miserable together. Right. Well, so longevity is not a flex, but they're still together. And both sets of my grandparents, they stayed together until one of them died. Right. Like and then they never got remarried after that. So when I went through the divorce, I was like the first one and then my Aunt Lynn on my dad's side, she never got divorced. Right. And so, so I look at, like, I was the first Bauer, to go through a divorce. And I was like, I'm a fucking failure. Right. Like I put a lot of identity in that marriage, even though it was a failing marriage. Right. So a lot of guys, their identity is shattered when that marriage fails. And now they're back on the dating circuit and they sort of have this feeling of, no one's ever going to love me. I felt that way. I felt that way for a whole year. Like I'm never going to find someone to actually love me. It's not true. It's not true. Nurse Chick loves the shit out of me. In fact, Nurse Chick, I was telling my son about this. We were driving up to this weekend. We were driving up to the field, the family field. I spent every year we go up to we have 300 plus acres of land up at near Craig, Colorado. And I thought it was 200 acres, but my mom's like, no, it's 300. It's the farming area where my grandpa used to farm is 200 acres, right? But there's still another 100 acres of other land that's a part of our property. And so we go up there, we fix the fence line and other stuff. My son and I hung up like no trespassing signs up there, which is stupid because like no one's up there. No one's going to stop people from trespassing. The signs are pointless. But anyway, we put no trespassing signs up and all that kind of stuff. And my mom sprays for weeds. It's a whole big deal. But on the way up there, I was talking to my son because he recently broke up with a girl. And it wasn't like the girl was treating him poorly. It's just she wasn't putting any investment in. And he was always having to reach out to her, always trying to, get the ball rolling with her. And she just wasn't that into him, like that happens. Right. And so I was telling him, I was like, look, man, like you've got to keep your options open. And he met a new girl out in Utah. And so now he's got this long distance thing going, which I'm like, that's a stupid idea, but it keeps you from getting girls pregnant. So I'm all for it while you're in high school. Anyway, so I told him, I said, look, while you're seeing this girl out in Utah, you need to be keeping your options open and talking to girls out here, and he's like, you want me to cheat on her? I'm like, you're not cheating on her. You're like, what? You're not exclusive. You're in a long distance pen pal relationship. I was like, you need to keep your options open until a girl locks you down. That's how it works. Right. And I go, and when you do that, the cream's going to rise to the top. Like the women that are showing investment are going to actually start showing themselves to you. You're going to be able to tell because you're seeing multiple women at once. You're like, hey, this one always wants to spend time with me. This one like wants to make out with me all the time. Like this one is like wants to cook for me and wants to do all these nice things for me. And these ones over here, they're not that interested. Like you see that better when you're dating multiple women. And I said, look, when I go, Nurse Chick, she treats me so well. She treats me better than any woman I have ever met. She's put so much investment into this relationship. It's uncanny. In fact, Aaron Clary, I was talking to Aaron Clary about this the last time I was up at his place and we were at Sturgis. And I was telling him about all the nice things that Nurse Chick does for me. And he goes, you need to get her to write a book or something, right? Like you need to get her to write a book for women and tell women how to do this shit, right? Because he's like, most women don't do any of that stuff. And I go, I know. Anyway, she's writing a book. Shout out to Aaron Clary. All right. Avoidance is a silent killer of masculine confidence. What you avoid controls you. Okay. Every time you dodge discomfort, you reinforce fear and shrink your confidence. And then you beat yourself up for not doing it. Right. That's why Man, I put out a meme yesterday talking about how avoiding women isn't going to bring you peace, bro, because all you're doing is going to be thinking about what if I did do that though? Like, what if I was successful with chicks? And it's just going to eat you alive. And you can't get rid of that urge to be with women. We are hardwired to be with women. Men are wired to be with women. We're social creatures by nature. Humans are. And so being alone in your fucking cabin in the woods, it's going to drive you insane. So what you avoid actually ends up controlling you. It starts like you won't be able to get it out of your head. And then you're going to try to constantly tell yourself, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm a MGTOW. Fucking liars. Avoidance feels safe, but it costs you, right? It slowly erodes your edge, making you doubt your power, your value, your instincts, right? You start becoming less and less of a man, and you start getting less and less confident, and you start doubting yourself more. It ends up being a negative feedback loop. That confidence, in order to build that confidence, it requires action on your part, okay? One of the things that I learned when I was first studying the stuff, I learned from one of my mentors, Dr. Robert Glover, is that thinking causes anxiety, but taking action cures it. Okay, so if you're constantly worried about talking to women and that builds up a lot of anxiety in you, stop thinking about it and fucking just go talk to them. One of the things that he talks about, we'll probably get to it. I haven't read through the notes for a while. One of the things he talks about is the 3-second rule. The 3-second rule, which is you give yourself 3 seconds. You see a girl, you have 3 seconds to go talk to her. If you don't just tell your mind to shut the fuck up and go talk to her in those 3 seconds, you're going to talk yourself out of it, right? So you got to remember, most of you are overthinking. And talking yourself out of talking to women, it's really just a buffer for rejection. You're just trying to avoid being hurt. But you'll find the more you do this, it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt. Avoiding women, it's just the symptom though, guys. Okay, let's talk about what that fear is really protecting you from. Before we get into all that, though, do consider following me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Follow me on X. Don't just follow me on X, though, if you're not going to be on X. I don't want just random people following me, right? I think Brother David from Wolfpack was like, oh, yeah, I'll follow Paul on X. I've never used it before, but I'll sign up for it. Hey, do any of you guys use X? I don't get it, right? Like, so I think he followed me on there, but I don't think he's actually using it, right? But I want people who are active on X to follow me on X, okay? Don't just follow me to follow me, all right? Guys, get my free ebook. Fine, here's how to get her back. A lot of you guys are thinking about getting your ex back because this dating process and cold approach is building up too much anxiety for you, and it's like, oh man, this is too much trouble. My ex is kind of low-hanging fruit. Maybe I should go back to her. Maybe I should try to patch things up with her. At least I know how that will go, right? I don't recommend that, but you know what? There is a proven strategy to get your ex back. There's a link in the description. I'll show you how to do it, but when you get this ebook, I'll also tell you why that's a terrible fucking idea. And then what I'd really recommend for you guys to do is get my new book. It just dropped Friday. Forget That Bitch. You can find that at books.comeonmanpod.com. It's now available on Amazon and Audible. I'll drop a link to that here in the chat. But let me ask you, you ever feel like you're doing everything right, showing up to work, paying the bills, keeping it together, but deep down, something's broken since the breakup? You go through the motions, but the confidence, it's gone. The spark, it's missing. Well, here's the truth that most men never say out loud. After heartbreak, it's not just your relationship that ends, it's your identity that gets shaken up. And if you don't take control, you end up sort of drifting. You lose your edge. And dating again, it feels impossible. That's why you're watching today. But that's why I wrote this book. That's why I wrote Forget That Bitch. It's not therapy. It's not motivational nonsense. It's the raw step-by-step game plan to rebuild your masculine confidence from the inside out. And if you've ever struggled with approach anxiety, rejection, or just feeling like yourself again, this is your roadmap. It's available now on Amazon Audible, links in the description. And it's also, I think I pinned it in the chat too. I dropped it in the chat just now. If this message hits you in the gut, then by God, this book was written for you, my brother. All right. Let's talk about the lie of safety. Fear tells you avoiding rejection keeps you safe, but it actually imprisons you. You're a prisoner of your own mind. And it also tends to build up a lot of regret. That's why a lot of pickup artists will tell you it's better to be rejected than to deal with regret, right? It's better to be rejected than to have that regret. Because at least when you go up and talk to a girl, even if she rejects you, at least you can say, well, I fucking did it, right? At least I fucking know now. I know for a fact that she's not interested. Until then, you just got all these fucking what ifs in your head and you're a prisoner in your own mind. And repeated avoidance, it trains your brain to retreat from life altogether. It's funny about women, right? That's why I say when we learn to level up and get better with women, it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Well, the same thing happens when you're avoiding women, right? It trains you to retreat from life. It trains you to be passive in all areas of your life. It trains you to avoid everything, right? And avoidance strengthens fear loops. Each time you dodge discomfort, your brain wires itself to see challenges as danger, right? You want to avoid all kinds of challenges. Anything that's hard in life, hard. Most things that are hard aren't hard. They're just time consuming, you know? And retreat becomes a habit for you. It starts becoming a habit. Small avoidances stack up, training you to shrink from opportunity, risk, and connection in general. And then that confidence, it dies in silence. The more you retreat, the more life happens without you, and your belief in yourself tends to start fading. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever been here, or if you know someone who's here right now that's like this, okay? Or even if you're going through it right now, drop a 1 in the chat, okay? This is a trust tree. It's a judgment-free zone. The scarcity loop. Every unspoken hello reinforces that you're unworthy of love. Man, this is where I see it. I see it in there's an X account called Incel.is. I think that's the website. I think they have a forum of incels, and they all get together and commiserate and talk about their misery and how everything sucks. It ends up they just reinforce that negativity with each other and talk about why they can't and why they shouldn't even try and why they shouldn't even bother. And they bring out all these statistics that reinforce that negativity that keeps them stuck where they are, but they're fucking miserable people. They're absolutely miserable, and they want people to feel sorry for them. The thing is that no one feels sorry for people like that, let alone women, right? Nothing dries up a vagina like pity. And these guys are trying to get women to feel sorry for them. And it's like, dude, you're not going to convince women to date losers. You're not, okay? You're just not. Let me tell you a story. There was once a wolf born with teeth, instinct, and a howl that could shake the forest. But this wolf wasn't raised under the stars or snow. He was born behind fences, a cage. And every time he got too close to the edge, curious, relentless, wild, zap, a shock. Not enough to kill, just enough to teach. So he stopped. Bit by bit, the wild in him dimmed. Eventually, the gate was left open. No zap, no guard, just trees, snow, and sky. Freedom. But the wolf didn't move. He glanced at the open door, then turned back to his corner. Because the cage wasn't just around him anymore. It was in him. His body could run free, but his mind was still in chains. He forgot he was born to roam. That wolf, that's you, brother. Every time you've wanted to speak up, walk over, take the shot, and didn't, that was the cage tightening. Not physical bars, but invisible ones, built from hesitation, fear, and a lifetime of avoiding discomfort. Eventually, your mind lies to you. Better stay quiet. Don't risk it. You're not that guy, pal. But here's the truth. The gate is wide open. The world is waiting. But freedom only belongs to the man who remembers that he's wild. And that's why we built the Wolf Pack. It's not just a community, it's a den for men ready to break free, for men who are done circling the cage and ready to hunt. Inside the pack, we sharpen instincts, we rebuild confidence, and reawaken that primal edge. Because you weren't made to shrink. You were made to lead. You were born to howl, to walk with other wolves who refuse to settle for small lives. So the only question is, are you ready to remember who you are? If the answer is yes, then it's time to run with the wolves, brother. It's time to run with those wolves, baby. Bear Club? Not anymore.
Midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit, 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack.
Give me a too sweet, brother. Give me a too sweet. And guys, if you need one-on-one help, book a call with me. Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com and book your breakthrough and battle plan. I've extended that into a full 60-minute session. So if you've been thinking about working with me, book a call, all right? Let's see. What do we got here? Forget that. Bitch. We got a whole bunch of people in the chat today. We got Nurse Chick in the house. Good morning, gentlemen. Happy hump day. It's her favorite day.
So naughty.
She's a dirty birdie.
I'm gonna come.
Yes. Let's see here. We've got CW in the house. Hey, gents and Nurse Chick. Happy hump day. Brother Ray Leyland. Good morning, all. Forget that beach is fire. Urkin says, good day, folks. Exactly. You spent most on healthcare and get the least out of it. Oh, God. Yeah. It's so frustrating. I wish we could have communist healthcare like you guys have over there in Sweden or whatever. Did Eric Clary take you to a weird jogging? What do you mean a weird jogging? He took me hiking. It was more like fucking parkour, you know. And he says, I see what you did there with the free ebook and how that leads into the actual book. Very clever. The free book is a prelude. Indeed. It's called marketing. Oh, man. The wolf is a symbol of nationalist party in Turkey. Is it? Interesting. Okay. I don't fucking care what's going on in Turkey. Guys, smashing like. It's alpha. Okay. Smash that like button if you're watching live right now. All right, let's wrap this pig up, okay? Let's talk about the confidence comeback plan. So here's the thing. If you guys want to get over this competition anxiety, that's what we're doing today. We're getting over competition and anxiety. You got to sort of desensitize yourself to that rejection through reps. Okay. It's the gym of confidence, right? There's some things I recommend in the book, some things that will get you taking baby steps to get you over that anxiety. So one of the things is a compliment challenge. I recommend you walk around and just give strangers, it doesn't even have to be women in general, but just strangers, just compliment them on something. Hey, I like your hat. All right, that's it. You're not asking anything of these people. You're not trying to strike up a conversation. You just compliment them. Hey, I like your hat. That's a cool alien you got there. Elevator chats, that's a big thing, right? You're stuck in an elevator with people, and most people are just like super awkward in elevators, right? And they're trying to not talk to anybody. Just strike up a conversation in there. Man, Nurse Chick and I, when we were in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, we were at this hotel. I stay away from the Pan Pacific Hotel in Toronto. It's a fucking shithole. It's a nice hotel. Like the inside looks nice, right? The downstairs looks nice, but the elevators are all broken, and the rooms suck, and there's no fucking air conditioning. Anyway, the elevators, they had 3 elevators, and like 2 of them were broken half the time. And so for 21 floors, you had 1 elevator operating. And so people were like crowded in this fucking elevator. You had to strike up a conversation with people because you were stuck in there with people for a long fucking time, right? But doing that will get you over that anxiety of talking to strangers, right? Elevator chats is a good thing. I also recommend solo outings. Go out by yourself, right? Linger in public and talk to everyone you meet, right? Talk to the gas station attendants. If you're pumping gas and someone's on the other side of the gas pump, talk to them. Okay. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Just chit chat. Okay. Do one thing every day that scares the hell out of you. Okay. Because if you push past that anxiety when it doesn't matter, right? Talking to a stranger on the elevator, who gives a fuck, right? If you could do that, if you could push past that anxiety, that's going to build up that desensitization, you know, and allow you to push past anxiety when it fucking counts. You want to shift from outcome to process. See, a lot of guys, they are afraid to go talk to women because they have that attachment to an outcome. Man, if I go up and talk to her, I want her to give me her number, and if she doesn't, I'll be fucking crushed by it because they're attached to the outcome of getting that number. When they don't get it, they're fucking crushed. Let go of that. Okay? That you have to have more of the idea of action equals victory mindset. Like if I just go out there and did something, like in feeling good about just taking that action, that you want to be attached to that outcome, not the outcome of getting the number. Right. And you want to reframe every rejection as data, not defeat. That's why this mindset completely changed the dating game for me. Dr. Robert Glover recommends that guys have this idea of treating dating like a science experiment. You're not necessarily out there to get numbers. You're not out there to get laid. You're out there to collect data, right? Like a good scientist. Scientists collect data. They don't care about the outcome necessarily. They're just, they might have a hypothesis and they'll try to test that hypothesis. And if they can't disprove that hypothesis, they raise it to a theory, right? But if they can disprove that hypothesis, they go, oh, okay, well, I guess that didn't work. Let me come up with a new hypothesis, right? That's how you have to treat dating. Once you let go of that attachment to outcome and you treat it like a science experiment, it becomes fun. It's a fun thing, right? Like you just go out there and go, oh, that didn't work too well. Let me go back. I tested that hypothesis. That didn't work out. Let me go back to the drawing board and see if there's something better that works for me. Right. One of the things, so I read when I was out dating, I have my holy trinity of dating books. I had Dating Essentials for Men. I had How to Be a 3% Man and an Atomic Attraction. And what I found was like some of the things that Corey recommended, I found that Dr. Glover's advice, which was a little bit different in a lot of cases, his advice worked better for me, right? And there were certain things that neither Corey or Dr. Glover's worked that great for me, but Christopher Canwell's worked better for me. And so I just tested these 3 things. I picked these 3 books and I tested them. And I finally found out a method that worked for me. That was like, oh, I was very consistent. I was able to consistently get results with doing these things, but it was all through trial and error and testing things out and seeing what worked and disregarding what didn't, you know? And it was fun. It was because I started not having that attachment outcome and having fun with the science experiment of it, right? What are you talking about, Terry? What? We're not even talking about cops and ICE. I don't know what you're talking about, man. We're talking about cold approach and talking to women. Are you one of those guys, Terry? Are you one of those guys that brings everything back to politics and the news and what's going on in the news? That's not very fun. We want to master body language. All right. Guys are terrible at body language. Guys are absolutely terrible at understanding body language. They did studies where they had women watching videos with the sound off, and women are really good at picking up on body language. And they were able to pick up like what was going on in the video, like 75% of the time. Women were like really good at it, right? And something like 10% of guys understood what was going on without sound on, because guys are terrible at body language. Well, you want to get good at it. You know, and I had some MGTOW guy one time. He was complaining about having to take some kind of master course in CIA body language. No, you don't have to fucking do that. There's YouTube videos that are like 30 minutes long that will get you pretty good at body language, right? It's not that hard. And once you learn it, like you can't unsee it. Like you see people's body language in different contexts, and you're like, ooh, you know. There's a guy on X, Rivellino. Ryan Stone hates that guy. I don't think Paul Benjamin likes him that much either, but he has some interesting stuff, and he really breaks down the green lines, you know. And the thing about the green line test is it only really is accurate when you look at a whole array of pictures, right? If you see a bunch of people in different situations and they're always doing the things with the green lines, then it's like, okay, well, now I can accurately use the green lines to assess how this couple is or how their relationship's going, right? But if you take one picture, you can't necessarily do that. However, it's a good rule of thumb. Like when I learned about the green line thing, I'm more cognizant of how I stand, you know, like when Nurse Chick's around, I make sure that I'm standing vertically, you know, like, you know, I'm not cock shaming. I'm not doing, I'm cognizant of this kind of stuff. And when you see pictures of Nurse Chick and I always make sure she's leaning in the pictures, but she leans in a lot because she loves this shit at me anyway. So, but when you're on dates and stuff like that, power posing, posture, that presence, women pick up on this stuff. So it's really behooves you to learn your body language and be cognizant of what you're doing with your body language, right? Like when you walk up and approach a girl, a big thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to make a girl feel cornered, right? So you want to sort of have open body language where you're almost like your body's sort of facing away from her so that she gets the feeling like you're not going to waste all of her time and take up all of your time. And that's why you walk up to her and you sort of stand sideways to her and be like, hey, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I got to get back to my friends, right? Give yourself a false time constraint. That way she doesn't feel intimidating about having to get in conversation with someone she might not be interested in. And then you chat her up a little bit. That actually puts her more at ease because your body language is conveying you're not going to take up a lot of her time, right? So there's a lot of the subtext that is important to understand. The left eye trick, I pound that home in this book. I pound it home in every book. The left eye trick will fucking change the game for you, right? That's where you look at her, like as you're looking at me in the camera, you look at this eye, my left eye. So you look at her left eye. So just when you make eye contact, focus on this eye. It's magical. It's like you're mesmerizing these chicks when you do that. Don't take my word for it. Try it out. Okay. It builds a deep rapport with people when you look in their left eye. The idea behind it is that your left eye is connected to the right part of your brain. The right part of your brain is the emotional side of the brain. It's also where inhibitions are. So if you're on a date with a girl and you're making eye contact in her left eye and you're thinking like sexual thoughts, it's almost like she could feel it. It's palpable, right? And then she starts thinking about these sexual thoughts. And then next thing you know, you're banging her brains out. I do it to Nurse Chick all the time. One thing, I had Alan Roger Curry, the late great Alan Roger Curry, on my podcast, and he talks about the left ear zone, and it's the same idea. The left ear is connected to the right part of the brain, and so if you can get close enough to whisper in a girl's left ear, you can get sexual with her and get her sexually aroused. That's where verbal seduction really comes in, and so that's the same idea. And so I joked with him. I go, when I sit on the couch, Nurse Chick sits right next to me on my left side. I go, she's in my left ear zone. I go, she knows what the fuck she's doing. he thought that was funny. All right. Rejection practice. We want to go out and do rejection practice. Now, in the book, I call it Dr. Glover's rejection drill. He doesn't really call it the rejection drill. What he talks about is, he said, go out and actually attempt to get rejected by, like, set a number for yourself. Like, I'm going to go out, instead of I'm going to go out and get 20 numbers, say, I'm going to go out and get rejected 20 times. Because if the objective is to get rejected, where's the anxiety? You're actively trying to get rejected. And the funny thing is when you go out to get that rejections, when you actually get it, it's like a win. Oh, fuck yeah. She rejected me. Fuck yeah. Right. But that you want to develop a sort of an emotional callus to rejection. Okay. Not necessarily armor, but readiness. What you'll find is when you go out and do that and you actively go out and try to get rejected, rejection stops hurting. You stop being scared of it. It's not a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. And then you end up developing the mindset of what I always picture in my mind when I was walk up and talk to a chick and I was hoping for rejection. I would picture in my mind James Bond from Die Another Day, when he walks up to Miranda Frost and he lays some cool slick James Bond line on her and she flat out insults him and rejects him. He just goes, oof. Right. But like that was his reaction to it. Like, oof, almost like it was funny. Right. That's how I think of it when I go and I get rejected. Right. I channel Pierce Brosnan in that moment. Being present, the scarce currency. Women can sense when you're truly present versus using rehearsed, canned pickup. They could sense this. They can feel it. They know when you're being genuine and when you're not. That's why I don't recommend pickup lines, like cool, slick pickup lines. You don't need pickup lines. You just talk to them like they're human beings. There's 3 levels of testing, and that's all it is. You got to look at it like you're testing for interest. That's all you're doing. And there's 3 levels. Like the first one is opening up, just talking to her, right? Like you could pick something in the environment and, hey, how about that weather we're having, right? Like you're stuck in an elevator, like, oh, this elevator is terrible, isn't it? Like, how long you been here, right? And then that naturally leads into level 2 testing, where if she's interested in talking to you, she's going to keep talking to you, right? Once you banter back and forth for like no longer than 8 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, now you want to escalate to level 3 testing, which is where you require something of her, right? Hey, this conversation's been pretty cool. I'd love to, meet you for drinks sometime. Give me your number, and then hand her your phone, right? Give me your number. That's telling her to do it as opposed to asking her. That's a bold move. It's dominant. Chicks like that sort of thing. It's confident. And when you hand her your phone, like assuming the sale, she's more likely to go, oh yeah, no problem, and put her number in the contacts, right? But that presence, having that presence is the rarest form of masculine confidence, right? This is why Thor really, like his whole book, A Dominant Masculine Presence, that's what he was trying to teach men, is to have that natural dominant masculine presence that women just pick up. They feel it. He called it the vibe, right? That's the goal. You want to get to that level where you just do this naturally. It's going to take practice. It's going to take practice. It's going to take some study. It's going to take a lot of rewiring this. That's why I wrote Psychology Paradigm. It's all about rewiring this to naturally act that way. Because if you change what's up here, your actions are controlled by your thoughts. If you change what's up here, your actions are going to follow. You're going to naturally have that dominant masculine presence. You got to realize something. All of this, right? Getting over your approach anxiety, developing that dominant masculine presence, it's not about women. None of this, at the end of the day, really is about women. It's about you. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. That's why I always say the pursuit of leveling up and getting better with women tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. That's the goal. That's the goal at the end of the day, because once you do that and you make it a part of who you are, all this stuff just naturally happens. It's a byproduct, right? If this hit home and you're nodding along with this, going, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, watching another video won't fix your problem, brother. Reading my book, working with me, that's where the real transformation begins. I'm giving you the map, but you still have to walk that path, okay? Get the book, and when you're ready, brother, where is this at? Book a call with me, okay? Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. There's a QR code in the book when you're ready to book that call. Otherwise, I'll drop a link in the chat here. Rejection is inevitable, but regret is optional. Choose courage, brother. Choose growth. And if you're ready to go deeper, grab the book, join the Wolf Pack. Wolf Pack is a good place to start too. And let's build something stronger than fear. What do you say? That's all we got, guys. Tune into the podcast Friday. It is Frame Friday. We will be talking about the one mindset shift that will change your dating life forever. We hinted at some of that today. A lot of you hate dating. You're burned out. We're going to fix that on Friday. All right. Until then, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. There's new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail so far. Thanks for everyone that started off in the live chat. There's 41 people liking across X, YouTube, and Facebook. So there should be at least 41 likes on this video out there. Okay. We did get a super chat. Let's see. Hold on. There is a super chat here from Ray Leyland, $10 super chat. I will finish the second time through the Audible version of Paul's new book by the end of today. Oh, wow. Second time through. Already, it just dropped on Friday, Ray, man. You must be hitting it hard. Okay. This book will help no matter what stage of post-breakup divorce you find yourself in. Man, I'm glad you like that. Be sure to drop a review on Audible. And because you're a Wolfpack brother, and you sent a $10 super chat, I'm going to give you them titties, bro.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
God bless them. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get the free ebook. Fine. Here's how to get her back. The link's in the description. You're going to, by the time you're done reading that, you're going to realize, that's a bad idea. It's a terrible fucking idea. Get the new book. It did drop last week on Friday. It's available in all formats, including Audible. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com to find all my books. Get in the Wolf Pack, wolf.comeonmanpod.com. Can I get a 2 sweet from the brothers out there? And then, guys, when you're ready, book that breakthrough and battle plan session. Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. You can also go to call.getoveryourx.us. It'll take you to the same place. That's all we got. We will see you guys on Friday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.